Hi and welcome. Today what we're going to do is a 1 minute blues workout, okay, and it's using the blues scale. We're going to do it in a really interesting way. A lot of people just play scales in a kind of like boring way, but what we're going to do is treat the scale in a low, medium and high manner. So that's going to give you more range when you do use the scale, because the blues scale is wonderful. You can play it up and down the fretboard, you can learn it everywhere. Some people will encourage you to learn it in many positions, and that can be a little bit overwhelming. But what we're going to do today is learn a simpler version where we learn the typical box shape, but then we learn an alternative shape and we play the low, medium and high. It's really exciting. So I'm going to show you a couple of little riffs as well to use it, which is really cool, and some licks, okay? Stuff like simple lick like that, and stuff like, okay? So that you can use it in a low way and a high way. It's really fun, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is learn the blues scale. We'll learn one octave to start with, okay? It's in A, that's how we're doing it today. And we've got this to begin with. You just want to get good at that, okay? So that's 5, 8 on the low E string, 5, 6, 7 on the A string, 5, 7 on the D string. That's the low octave, okay? That's going to give you some bassy notes and stuff like that, okay? But if you do want to add a bit more range, one extra lower note, you can. Go down to fret 3 of the low E string. That just gives you an extra note. And a lot of the time when you play this blues scale, you will start with the root note, which is the note of A, that 5th fret low E. But if you want to use that extra low note as a sort of starting point before you get to that root note, it sounds cool. You know, you can get that sort of like little bit of a lift into the scale, okay? So that 3rd fret of the low E string is a bonus note. Okay, so that's 1 octave. Okay, the 2nd octave then is starting from where we just finished, which is 7th fret of the D string. Then we've got 5th fret of the G string, 7th fret G string, 8th fret G string. Then we're going to do B string fret 5 to 8, and then finally high E string at fret 5. That's your 2nd octave. So starting from that 7th fret D string. Okay, and again you want to get good at that. Find a picking pattern that works for you. Some people will use all downstrokes, some people will use alternate picking, some people will use economy picking. I'll talk about that sort of stuff in another lesson. Okay, so far you've got your low octave and your middle octave. Now we're going to do some higher notes, okay? This is very much inspired by B.B. King. And what we're doing here is starting from 10th fret of the B string. And we're just playing these extra notes here. Okay, these are just bonus notes, but these straight away give you more range with the scale. So instead of your highest note being there, your highest note now is going to be all the way up here. And then you can come back down, okay? So you've got more range. So it's fret 10 of the B string, then 8 of the high E, 10 of the high E, 11 of the high E. So we've got your low octave, your middle octave and your bonus notes at higher up, okay? So once you practice all those, okay, which is what we'll do, we'll learn a couple of little riffs as well, okay? So let's just learn the riffs now. The first riff we was doing was this. Very simple, it's all on one string, anyone can do it, and it's really kind of like a cool bluesy groove. We add a bit of vibrato on at the end, okay? And all it is 3, 5, 8, all on the low E, back to 5, back to 3, back to 5. Okay, that's it. So we're going to do that riff as well in the workout, okay? Then we'll do this little riff as well. Okay, it's a little kind of lick more so. Bit of vibrato on at the end as well, okay? And what we're doing there is playing those scale notes from that middle octave I talked about. Fret 5 at the high E, 8, 5 on the B, 8, 5 on the B again. So you got, and then 7 on the G, 5 on the G, and 7 on the D with vibrato. Break it up into little chunks, okay? That could be a bit overwhelming if you're trying to learn it all in one big chunk. But the final thing we're going to do, okay, and I'll show you at the end as well how you could spice this up a little bit, is particularly if you're playing it on your own without any backing track or anything, okay? Really, really simple little trick. Okay, so the final thing we're going to do then is go to fret 10 of the B string with the ring finger, and we're going to play this. Might have to break this one up into a few little parts. First thing is that 10th fret of the B string. Then we go 8th fret of the high E, 10th fret of the high E, and then hammer on to fret 11, pull off to fret 10, pull off to fret 8. Okay, so you got that. Then we're going to go fret 10, 8 on the high E, then 10, 8, 10 on the B. Okay, so 3 little chunks in that. You got this, first chunk, second chunk, and that's the third chunk. Okay, break it up into little chunks like that, okay? It's a cool lick, but it will take a little bit of practice. So then, what we'll do now is set the timer, put it all together, 10 seconds on each one. We're going to do the low scale, the medium scale, the higher scale, then we're going to do the low riff, the medium riff, and the high lick as well, okay? So let's give it a go. There you have it, very simple. Is it? Not really. Okay, I shouldn't say that really, because if it's new to you or you find this sort of stuff hard, it's not going to be simple. You'll have to break it all down. One thing I should point out as well, when we're practicing that high scale, okay, that little BB King inspired scale, we did do a lot of notes. Well, we used the 8th fret of the B string as well. So you can think of it like a little box shape. 8, 10 on the B, 8, 10 on the high E, with that bonus little 11th fret note there. Okay, and when we played it in the scale, we just started at that A note, which is 10th fret of the B string, went up that scale, back down it, and then you could even finish at that 8th fret of the B, and you finally want to resolve it at 10th fret of the B. Now, if you ever want to play those higher notes, the little trick you can do to fill out the sound is pluck the root note. Ideally, it'd be an open string root note. And we're in the key of A, so we can always use the A string, the open A, as a bass note to ring out throughout the piece, which is cool. So you can play that open A, and then play little licks. And you've got that little bit of bass note going on throughout. Okay, it sounds a bit fuller. Obviously, if you're using a backing track or you've got distortion and you're playing in electric, you probably don't want to do that because it will just muddy the sound. You just want to keep it, you know, as tidy as you can. But if you're playing acoustic like me, and you want to get that bit of richness, just plug that A string. And you can even do it on the middle octave. You know, and then play those little riffs on that bass note and then go back up to that. Which is really cool. And another thing you want to do, a little final bonus tip you can do here, play all those scale notes, but in triplets. Triplets is a big part of blues, and I don't really see a lot of people talk about rhythm when they're talking about teaching the blues and blues scales. They just kind of like expect you to be able to play different rhythms, but rhythm is the key to everything, you know. Music is made up of 3 parts. Harmony, which is kind of like all your chords, or when you're playing more than one note at a time. Melody, which is where you're playing obviously like riffs and licks and phrases, one note after another. But rhythm It covers everything, okay? So rhythm is absolutely fundamental. You should work on your rhythm skills every day. And in the blues, I like to get all my students to work on triplets, okay? So you can practice all the scale stuff with triplets and pluck each note 3 times with that rat-ta-ta kind of rhythm. Okay, and add in some groove there. You can do it with all the scale notes. Okay, and then, you know, even the higher ones. It doesn't sound massively musical when you're staying on one note over and over, but it can sound cool. And then later on, you can do the triplet rhythm, but each pluck on different notes. That sort of thing. It sounds cool, okay? But rhythm is really, really good. So you can practice those scales, you know, that low, medium, and high. The way we done it in the workout, you can practice it with the riffs and you can practice it with the triplet rhythm. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, you can get more information from me and more help from me by going to fingerstyle101.com/free. I talk a lot about blues, finger picking, folk, strumming, you know, loads of different stuff, acoustic rock, a wide variety. But blues is something I absolutely love to play. And I like to make it as simple as I can for students so they can have a lot of fun and just get started enjoying the blues and getting comfortable and confident playing the blues. And that's what it's all about, you know. I'm not going to make you into Eric Clapton or BB King or Buddy Guy overnight. So, you know, nobody can, because it took them like decades to get to their level. But I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you had a lot of fun. Check that out. If you want more help from me, go to this video here. Check that out. Right, cheers. Bye-bye.